Hello and welcome to this video from Rawmarsh Community School. The focus of this video will be on the different ways you may be able to support your child's learning from home. We'll have a look at some of the barriers to supporting learning at home, a range of strategies to overcome some of these barriers, ways to support with reading and vocabulary, and links to resources to support with mental health and well-being. So first of all, some of the common barriers to supporting learning at home. In so many ways, learning from home is very different to learning in school, and because of these differences, many of our students may struggle to engage with their learning in the same way. Some of our students struggle with motivation, and as parents that can often be the biggest hurdle. The school day offers a specific routine. Without that routine, some will find it difficult to want to engage in schoolwork at all. A lot of our parents have asked us, how can I support my child's learning and what should I do when they get stuck? Knowing how to guide your child's learning can often be quite daunting. And sometimes it's the technical knowledge that is a barrier. Knowing how to access and use the online platforms we are using will help support the students in their learning. We'll be posting more videos on technical support soon. We posted some advice to our students about how to get up and get motivated in our last newsletter. If at all possible, following a routine at home that is as close to a normal school day as possible may help to keep your child engaged and motivated. We know that this is not possible for everyone and that you need to do whatever works best for you and your family. Some things they can be considering though is getting up and getting dressed, finding somewhere quiet to do their lessons, checking their emails and their Google Classrooms daily for meet links and resources, using their Google Calendar as a timetable. They need to share all of their work with their teachers and ensure they save a copy for themselves. Communicate with their teachers. Use email, chat functions, raise their hand. It's important for them to know that their teacher is there to support them now in the same way they have always done. There is a further section at the end of the video where we'll signpost some resources to access around supporting mental health and well-being at home. In this next section of the video, we'll have a look at some of the ways you can support your child with their work and guide them when they get stuck. We'll look at modelling and cluing, how you can demonstrate the skills being used. We'll also look at some of the ways you can phrase questions to guide your child towards the answer they need. Finally, we'll have a look at some of the reading and vocabulary strategies we use in school and how you can use them at home. In some research done by Bosanquet, Radford and Webster in 2016, they looked at different strategies parents could use to support learning at home and the impact the strategies had on their children's learning. As you can see, providing the answers to your child can actually have a negative impact on their progress. Instead, there are a number of strategies such as modelling, cluing and prompting that have a much more positive impact. The first of these strategies is modelling. Modelling simply means demonstrating to them the process they need to go through in order to get the correct answer. The example here is around collecting terms in maths. If a child is stuck on this question, can you collect the like terms for the apples and the plums? Simply telling them that the answer is 5a plus 6p won't help them to know how to go about answering a similar question independently. When we model, we break down the process you follow to arrive at that answer. In this case, firstly find all the apples by circling them in one colour. Secondly, find all of the pears by circling them in a different colour. Then you can add together the apples and write it on the left, followed by adding together the plums and writing it on the right. You could demonstrate this broken down process and then follow that up by asking your child to complete a similar question independently by following the same process. We might not always know the answer or the process, but you can support your child's learning by asking them to refer to previous work to find out that process or by contacting their teacher. Cluing means exactly as it sounds, giving them or asking them to find clues in the task and the content to support their learning. There are different things you and your child can try. Number 1, look at the question or task. What are the key words? What do they mean? What skills is it asking you for? Where might you find support with that? Number 2, giving clues or information about the equation they might use, a colour that would be suitable, or a particular sentence or paragraph they may wish to read again to find the answer. You can point out where they have used this skill before to jog their memory. Number 3, you can give your child sentence stems or a list of vocabulary they should include. These are all things just to get them started. Knowing what types of questions to ask can be very useful in supporting learning. In school, we use a system of questioning based on Bloom's taxonomy. This is basically a hierarchy of question stems that build up the skills pupils use in every subject. They are very useful when trying to push and challenge our pupils, but are also vital when we need to break a skill down, something that as parents can be very useful to support our children at home when they're stuck. The question stems are split into 7 categories that build in skill level, starting with knowledge, then comprehension, all the way through to evaluation and creativity. When your child is stuck, getting them to think about what knowledge they do have and how that can be applied to the task they are stuck on can guide them to figuring it out. Let's have a look at how that might work with an English task. Imagine that your child had the following task. How does Dickens use language to describe Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? Using some of the question stems in knowledge, you could start to draw out some of the knowledge they do have, letting them see that the building blocks of the task are there. You could pose the following questions. Tell me about Scrooge. Where can you find information about him in the novel? Can you list the things he does? Where did Dickens describe him? What is he like as a character? Building upon this, you can use the comprehension question stems to dig even further, possibly asking, what happened after Scrooge did that? How would you describe Scrooge in general? How do you know this about his character? You will be drawing out the building blocks upon which your child can have a go at creating a successful answer. You will make them more confident, make them realise that they do have understanding of the topic and can apply that topic to the task that they're working on right now. Okay, now let's have a look at reading and vocabulary. Reading is the cornerstone of learning. We must train our students to be strategic readers, ones who have the skills to take meaning from a text in order for them to read to learn. Competent and independent readers will absorb so much more subject knowledge, and effective readers are the most effective learners. This is why reading and vocabulary are such a priority at Royal Marsh. We use a reciprocal reading model in school, and you can use a range of these strategies at home too. So what is reciprocal reading? In a nutshell, it is broken down into 3 steps. Number 1 is pre-reading. Allow your child to predict what a text might be about using images, a novel cover, keywords, or titles. Step 2 is the reading. Research says that if we read a text to a child first, they will understand more and pick up on vocabulary, pronunciation, and sentence forms. So reading to your child before they then reread independently can be very beneficial. Step 3 is post-reading. Discuss what you have read, clarify any vocabulary they didn't understand, and then check their understanding by asking questions or asking them to summarise what they have just read. We have taken these principles and come up with a toolkit of ideas you can use. These 9 strategies can be used in whichever way works best for the context you are in. For supporting your child at home, modelling reading, questioning, clarifying and summarising are all effective ways of making sure that the text has been understood before work is completed about it. Here is an example of it being used in a Year 10 chemistry lesson. The pupils were given the title and image on the screen and asked to make predictions about the text using that and their existing chemistry knowledge. They then had to listen to the teacher read before finding out and clarifying the words in green. Finally, they discussed the text, were questioned on it, and then asked to summarise what they had learned in 6 words. Whilst they are reading, pupils will come across vocabulary that they do not know. It is important that this vocabulary is understood and identified, otherwise it could impede a student's understanding of a whole text or task. When they are working on something at home, there are a number of ways you can support your child when they come up against new vocabulary. Using the Freya model means telling them what the definition of a word is, any synonyms, so words that mean the same thing, any antonyms, so words with the opposite meaning, and an example sentence with the word in. Get your child to say the word out loud so they can learn how to pronounce them. Manipulate it. Can you say it in its past tense version, or how would you use it as an adjective or a verb? It's not a prescriptive list, but some of these strategies can be used very effectively at home as well as in school. Hopefully those strategies help you to support your child's learning and work at home. Most importantly, however, it's vital that our students' mental health and well-being is also being supported. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have really been felt by young people, and it can sometimes be hard as parents, carers and members of our community to help support them through this difficult and challenging period. As a school, we are here to offer as much support for your child and our students as possible, and will always be available should you wish to speak to us. Please do not hesitate to contact school if we can be of assistance. Within this section of the website, you will find a number of different links to online resources that support mental health and well-being. As a school, we use With Me in Mind as a resource to support our pupils. They have a range of resources that can be accessed through www.withmeinmind.co.uk. You will also find a resource containing a wide range of information about support services from Heads Together and Mentally Healthy Schools. Among others, these links can provide you as parents and carers and our young people with a range of different support options. Please do have a look. As always, the ideas and strategies in the video are just parts of a toolkit of things you might find useful when supporting your child's learning at home. Whatever support you are able to offer at home will make a huge difference. Thank you for watching.